Hello, I'm John Magnus, owner of Ag Multi-Trailer, and this is Travis Linden. Travis came on board here a couple years ago, and he's been helping us with our YouTube channel and our video editing, and he also helps us with Facebook and answers a lot of questions when I don't have time to get to them. So sometimes it's me answering, sometimes it's Travis, but he's done an outstanding job. Julie and I were in the area today, and we decided to stop and see him, and he said, hey, let's do some videos while we're here. So what we thought we'd do is we're going to do a walk around of a trailer. It's been about 5 years since we walked around the trailer, and we've added a lot of features to the trailer, and some of them are worth repeating. So I'm going to have Travis walk around and show you his trailer and talk about some of the features that you might be interested in.
Hey everyone, I'm Travis and this is Spirit. Oftentimes you have an opportunity to see us at a farm show so we can tell you and help you learn about the Ag Multi-Trailer. However, we also realize that we have a lot of customers that don't have the opportunity to get away from the farm and attend a farm show, whether it be for field work or for care of livestock. So we're gonna bring the farm show to you. Before we go through the trailer, I wanna make one thing clear. All of our trailers, 100% across the board, come standard with hydraulic jacks, hydraulic dovetail ramp, hydraulic operation of dumping your hay and converting from hay mode to flatbed mode. 100% of that is always hydraulic, no matter if you get a very standard trailer or if you add other options. As far as our options go, there's not a whole lot of them. Basically, the only thing we need to know from you is the length of the trailer you want, what size axles you want, and how many of them you want. If you want a solar charger, a spare tire, and how many toolboxes you want. And lastly, a wireless remote. That's it. Everything else is standard on these trailers. That is the only options we have. The other beauty is that if you get your length right and your axles right, everything else is a modular option to add. Nothing is difficult about it. The wireless remote is plug and play. If you choose, let's say you order a trailer today, and then in 2 weeks when you pick it up, you're like, yeah, I don't need a wireless remote, I didn't order one. But another couple weeks go by and you're like, you know what, I really want the wireless remote. If you call us, we can send it to you and you literally plug it in yourself. You don't have to come back, bring the trailer to us, or take it somewhere else to get your wireless remote installed. It's a very simple process. We're gonna start at the front of the trailer and work our way back to show you all the features that we have to offer. Of course, like any other gooseneck, you're gonna be able to lock your ball. You also have standard safety chains and of course a breakaway because we wanna keep everyone safe, not just ourselves, but also those around us. As we continue to move back, you'll notice that this gooseneck is pretty tall, and I actually have the legs lowered down quite a bit so that I can show you up here where all the controls are here in a minute. With the gooseneck being this tall and arched, this makes it to where if you have a newer pickup, you are not gonna get the gooseneck itself into the top of the bed or the top of your tailgate whenever you go around turns, or whenever you go around turns and go into a ditch and out of a ditch, etc. So now, whether you have a flatbed or a pickup with a normal bed on it, you're not gonna have to worry about bed damage. Moving a little further back, now we're right here at the actual top part of the neck. In here is where everything is this is where all the magic happens basically, right? So your battery, your trickle charger, your fuse panel, your hydraulic pump with the reservoir, your valve bodies, the control switches for the pendant, the actual pendant itself, all of that stuff is contained right here in the box. Now, the standard pendant has about a 15-foot cable with it, and that allows you to get out from the trailer if you're wanting to look and watch where something's gonna drop, etc. You can do that. How this works is essentially I flip a switch, so I'm gonna turn it to jack, and I wanna go up, hit this, and it's gonna go up for us. Turn that back off. Now you can hear that the pump is deadheading, meaning it can't do anything. There's nothing open for it to be actuated and actually control any sort of valve circuits. Now that pendant and everything is still tied up, as you can see, and mainly that's because this one has a wireless remote, so it's rare that you will ever use that, unless you're a bad owner and you forget to charge your remote. Now just to the right of your toolbox in the neck, or on the driver's side here, you're gonna see a couple of things. One is this plug that's covered, and that is so you can plug an extension cord into your trailer. That extension cord is going to power the standard charger. And the standard charger essentially is there for charging it up from dead. So let's say you used it all day and your battery's getting low, plug it in overnight, it'll be fully charged for the next day when you're ready to work again. The other thing it does is, like, if you're parking it for the winter and you have somewhere that has power, great. Plug it in, leave it plugged in, it'll kick on and off to maintain the battery. Now, if you are parking it somewhere that does not have power, that's okay. We have an option to fix that. we do have a solar charger that's a trickle charger that you can add to your trailer. This charger will not charge it up from dead to fully charged, but it will maintain the battery when you park it and keep it topped off so that when you go to use it again, you don't come out to a dead battery. Moving on from our chargers, right below that is a battery disconnect. Now that battery disconnect does exactly what it sounds like. So we're just gonna hit something, right? So you see how it works. When I turn this off, now nothing is gonna work. Won't do anything because it's turned the battery off, of course. With the battery disconnect off, the chargers do still work. So the solar charger, if you opt for one, will still work. And of course, the standard charger right here in the neck that you plug into, that will still work. But outside of that, nothing else that's running off of there is going to work, assuming you run it through your battery disconnect. Moving on from the battery disconnect, we're gonna go right down here to our switches. Now these switches are two things. One is your work lights. So if we flip this on, it's gonna light up the trailer. The work lights are wonderful for doing anything like loading equipment or strapping equipment down after it's loaded, anything like that. What they're not great for is turning them on when you're loading hay, because those lights are right in your eyes and not helpful at all. The other thing is that as you load up more hay, it's going to block the lights, and again, will make it to where they're not very useful. But they are great whenever it comes to loading up equipment or tying equipment down in the dark or doing any other work on your trailer in the dark other than loading hay. Now next to our work light switch is our trailer brake switch. Our trailers all come standard with the work lights and these brake options. This brake option makes it to where we can flip the switch all the way up. It's gonna turn a red light on right here on the side of the neck to remind you as you're walking back to the truck, of course, to turn that off or you won't be able to move. But this makes it to where you can lock your brakes when you're loading equipment. So whether you're pulling equipment up on it or if you're loading hay and you're pushing against your truck, it won't push into the transmission and makes it much gentler on the vehicle itself. That's the purpose behind them. When you're done with them, turn this back off, that red light will go off and you're good to go. It is back to being controlled, the brakes are back to being controlled by the truck. All of our trailers are equipped with a hydraulic jack. They're not the hydraulic jacks you're thinking of. They don't have a hydraulic ram in here. They're set up for a few different reasons in this capacity. This hydraulic motor is a very simple thing to add. We already have a hydraulic pump. So literally add 3 feet of line and we can have hydraulic jacks. The other thing is that whenever something happens to your jack, say you don't pick it up all the way and you drive away and you bend it up, they're bolted in right here. So we can unbolt it, put a new jack on it and move on about our way. The other thing is that let's say your pump failed you or your battery got low on you, whatever the case is, and you can't use this hydraulic pump for some reason. Now, all you have to do, now granted, I'm gonna be honest, I cheated and made it to where this doesn't have any weight on it so that I can pull it out easily. If you can't pull it out easily, what you could do, and I'll show you right here, is you can put a pin in on the other side and you can crank real hard and it will move enough so that you can get this pin out, because there are gonna be times where that pin is facing the wrong way. So we understand that, but it is still possible to get it out. You're just gonna have to have a different pin or a screwdriver or something else to put in the other side to be able to turn a little bit to get this one out. The other thing is, it is going to be very hard to turn it with the hydraulic pump connected. You could also loosen this line so that it breaks the pressure off of it and then try to turn it from that side. That would make it far easier to turn. As mentioned, we're gonna pull this pin out. Let's go to the other side. Now that we're at the other side, this right here is gonna line up on a hole, and if it doesn't, you take this out, move it a little bit, and now we are lined up on the other hole. From there, we put this jack in there and we can turn it and do whatever we need to as far as raising the trailer up or lowering it down. If we go a step farther though, and let's say you have a load of hay on here. If we had a load of hay on here, we can take this piece right here off just by removing this bolt, and we're gonna take it and put it right here at the end of our handle, and then our handle is gonna get connected back to this top part of this when it's on here. This would extend you out far enough so even if you had a 6-foot diameter bale or these are all the way flat, either way, you're still gonna pass it and you'll be able to crank on your jacks to get the truck either unhooked or rehooked to a different truck, whatever the case is that you have going on.
Up here on the back of the neck, you will notice that there are 2 receiver hitches on the left-hand side, but on the opposite side in the same positions as the receiver hitch, there are also snatch block locations. This is set up so that if you want to put your winch plate in, which the trailer comes with, You can put it in there, and then on the opposite side, if you wish to use the snatch block to keep whatever it is that you're pulling up on the trailer centered, you can do that. The winch plates that come with your trailer, of course, will be blank. You will need to drill the holes for the winch that you're going to put on there. But outside of that, literally pull a pin, take it out, and you can set it back in the toolbox, keep your winch out of the weather, and when you need it, put the pin back in, and you're ready to pull something up here.
As we work our way around, we'll talk about the toolboxes now. So there is one toolbox right here in the front, and that toolbox is a little different than the side ones because it has a mesh bottom. Makes it great for storing your chains or ratchet straps, etc. If they got wet, muddy, whatever happened to them, that stuff can dry off for one, or the mud and everything can fall through the bottom. You don't have to worry about it piling up in your toolbox. The side ones, however, they're just a standard style toolbox where they're completely closed in. They do have a weather seal around the actual where the door closes against it, but outside of that, they're just a normal style toolbox. This one is a standard one, meaning that it comes with the trailer regardless. You get one right here on the driver's side and you get the one in the center. If you wanted to add more toolboxes, depending on the length of your trailer, we can add more down the side. Of course, we can add one to the passenger side as well, or down the passenger side, depending on the length of the trailer also. Another feature we can add is sliding ratchet straps. Those are a really popular option for those that actually haul a lot of square bales or have other needs. So like, let's say they haul a lot of pipe or something else. Some folks opt to get that. Like I said, really popular option for people that are hauling square bales or something of that nature. But ultimately, if you're just doing square bales, if you're just doing round bales and equipment mostly, it may not be something that you want to spend the extra money on. Now you'll notice that this trailer is still kind of muddy and dirty, and that's because we use it on a regular basis. This trailer has an open floor, meaning that if you have dirt and everything else or hay, it's not going to pile up on your floor like it would on a normal flatbed that has, say, a wood deck. There's a large enough gap that stuff will get out and be off of your trailer and won't cause any rusting or anything like that. The other benefit to that is you have the ability to strap down to anything you want to on this trailer. You can go around these bars, you can go around the C channel, you can go around the outsides. The only thing you cannot strap down to is the hydraulic cylinders. Outside of that, strap down to whatever you want. If you want to strap down to the main I-beams going down the center of the trailer, go for it. Now you'll notice underneath of this trailer are two 15,000-pound Dexter axles. All of our goosenecks have the option of coming with a 10,000, 12,000, or 15,000-pound Dexter axle set. And if it's a long enough gooseneck, we can even add a third axle if you would like. The 15,000-pound axles have 18-ply tires on them on a 17.5-inch wheel. Look, you're going to run out of you're going to run out of truck before you run out of trailer with our trailers. We recommend that you get a 15,000-pound axle, but again, depending on the length of your trailer and what you're going to do with it, you may not need them. But what we always tell everyone is, for instance, with this 32-footer, the trailer empty weighs about 11,600 pounds. That means that when we're going to make it easy math, we're just going to say 12,000 pounds, but that means with two 15,000-pound Dexter axles, I have 30,000 pounds of cargo carrying capacity with those axles. But if I take away the weight of the trailer, now I'm down to 18,000 pounds. So I have 18,000 pounds of cargo carrying capacity on my trailer, plus whatever I am willing to put on the ball of my truck or the vehicle I'm towing it with. If you're towing it with a 1-ton truck, yeah, it can be a little bit sketchy, and that's why we tell everybody, look, it's what you're willing to do with your truck. I have an 04 Duramax with almost 400,000 miles on that I pull this trailer when we're loading hay out of the field or hauling equipment. And I also recently acquired a 2018 3500 HD. Both of them haul it very well. However, what I'm willing to do with my trucks may be more than you're willing to do with your trucks. Or you might be completely opposite of me and you might be like, hey, I don't care. Don't worry about the mule, load the wagon. So that's why we tell everyone, on a 32-footer, you have 18,000 pounds of cargo carrying capacity, plus whatever you are willing to put on the truck that you're pulling this trailer with. We want to show you how the ramp works now, and I think you can tell that we have put the passenger side all the way up and we have the driver's side all the way down. That's just to represent that those are the positions that the sides need to be in order to use the ramp. They either have to be all the way up like the passenger side, or they need to be all the way down like the driver's side. In order to use the ramp though, we are going to pull two pins. So this pin right here, and we'll do the exact same pin on the passenger side. I like to put the pins back so I don't lose them. Now, with that done, you can see that I have the passenger side here. It's out far enough that I can flip the ramp over. If you were loading a tractor with duals or something that hung over the width of the ramp or the width of the trailer, we would highly recommend that you have the sides down like the driver's side and you flip this all the way out. This would make it to where if you had say a dual on a tractor coming up, it would come up here. It would run this over once it got up here, but at that point, it's already got a tire on here and it's not gonna run over it and bend it down or anything. Now, if you don't opt to get a wireless remote, you will have to do all the hydraulic operations from the front of the trailer or the control boxes that I showed you earlier. Now, what we're gonna do is let the hydraulics do the work and flip the ramp over for us. When it comes to all the hydraulic operations that we do in this video, everything is going to be real time. I'm not going to speed anything up or slow anything down. I just want you to see how it works and how it functions. Now from there, this is our ramp. Now this ramp is the exact same ramp that we use on both the gooseneck and the step deck versions of our trailers. We don't know what the capacity of it is. As of May 12th, 2026, we have not broke a ramp at all. And we have folks that are loading D6 dozers onto their semi-trailers and have not broke it. Now, if you're running something that has metal tracks, metal on metal, not great. Most folks put down plywood or some rubber mat, something of that nature to put a barrier between the metal of the tracks and the metal of the trailer. Ultimately, I'm just telling you that because I don't know what to tell you as far as the capacity. We get asked this a lot. I don't know what the capacity is of our ramps because we haven't broke one yet. We're not saying that they'll never break, but what we are saying is that we don't know what the breaking point is yet. One more thing to note about our hydraulic ramp here. You'll notice that it has no support mechanism in the center. That's unusual because typically ramps like these, they have some sort of mechanism to support it. When you drive your piece of equipment up here, it won't be able to push down and attempt to lift the ball off of the truck that you have it hitched to. We don't have that problem because we have a hydraulic ram that is essentially locking this together as one rigid piece. Think about it kind of like my elbow, right? I can fold it up like this. Well, if I want to, and I use all my muscles, right, and I can hold it like this, even if somebody's trying to push down in the middle and make it to where it won't buckle or fold. That's essentially what that hydraulic ram is doing in this mechanism on our ramp. All right, now we're gonna put the ramp back up, and as it goes up, I'm gonna kind of explain why the ramp is so slow. So all the hydraulics on our trailer are geared to move slowly, and that is on purpose, mainly because of the hydraulic jacks. We want the hydraulics to have the torque to twist the jacks and lift this trailer up, even if it's fully loaded with hay or your equipment and you had to switch a trailer out, a truck out for whatever reason, a truck has an issue, you're gonna be able to do that and you're not gonna have to try to crank it by hand, because let's be honest, if it's a struggle to crank it by hand, it'd be a real struggle. Sorry, let that slam down like it's done. But if the hydraulics themselves couldn't turn that jacks and be able to lift it up, you would have one heck of a time trying to do it by hand on your own. So that is why all of our hydraulics are geared slow. The other thing is that we don't want it to throw hay off, we want it to set hay down. A lot of the inline trailers are geared off of an offset. So they're offset, you release the latch, and all that weight naturally makes it want to sling, and it'll throw your bales rather than set them off. We avoid all that by having hydraulics that are geared slowly so that we don't throw hay. We can still lift the whole trailer up even when it's fully loaded with hay or equipment. And of course, it'll be able to lift the ramp up and down without an issue. We're just gonna put all these back in and we're gonna switch over to hay mode. Moving from flatbed mode to hay mode is very similar in that aspect, but instead of 2 pins, you have to pull 4 pins. When we take these pins out, we're making it to where the hydraulics from the deck are gonna lift this up. Now, we could lift it up by hand if we wanted to, but it's heavy, awkward, and I don't wanna deal with it, and I'm sure you don't either, because not only would you have to lift this up and hold it, but you'd also have to flip up the support at the same time. If you're strong and you wanna do it, go for it, we won't stop you. However, if you want to work smarter, not harder, you'd take this pin out, slide it forward, put this pin back in, and now this is locked into the front. Same thing, we're gonna take this pin out, slide it forward, put that pin back in. At this point, we have everything positioned so that we can lift the centers up, so we're just gonna do that. Don't be alarmed if one side moves before the other, or like one moves a little bit than the other. These are on the same circuit. Whichever side has the least amount of resistance is going to move first. Now once you have this up high enough, we're gonna flip these manual supports up. Now the manual supports are only for the ramp portion, and all we're doing is putting this back in. It's gonna go through a little hole right here, and it's gonna make it to where this specific manual support can't fall over or anything. Do the same thing on this side. Next thing we need to do is move the slides. Now these slides are essentially little platforms that the legs that you see on the centers are meant to ride on. We do not want the centers to ride on hydraulics when we're running down the road. And the reason for that is very simple. The hydraulics on the centers of these, right? So the hydraulics that lift these up, they do not have what are called counterbalance valves. The outsides that are going to be holding the weight of the hay and preventing it from dumping, those have counterbalance valves. A counterbalance valve essentially makes it to where if there's not pressure on one side, it won't let it function. So if you were running down the road, and let's say you had a full load of hay on here, and a semi blows a tire up front, or somehow one of your hydraulic hoses get ripped off, it will make it to where you cannot do anything with that side, but it will not dump the hay. Unfortunate side is that you cannot dump that hay until you replace the line. But on a brighter note, you didn't just crush a bunch of vehicles that you were passing on the highway, or equipment or anything like that. So a lot of safety involved in that concept. Now that we've got the slides moved forward though, we'll set this back down, and you can notice that it's riding on the plates now. Now I have put the sides of the trailer all the way up because I wanted to show you something real quick before we move on to the hay part. Notice that the clevis that is on the side of the trailer, when the sides are all the way up, I want to point that out. The trailer itself, when the sides are down, is 102 inches wide. When you flip those sides up, you have an additional 4 inches sticking out on both sides. So if you really have a problem with DOT in your area and you think they're going to hassle you about it, that's something to be aware of if you're going to run around with the sides up when you don't have hay on here. The other thing is that just being cautious about it. So if you have narrow entries and stuff like that, if you're running around with the sides up and you don't have hay on here, yeah, you may want to put them down. With the sides all the way up, that's about where you'd be with a 4-foot diameter bale. And we're going to show you from here. So if you had, let's say, a 5-foot diameter bale, you'd be roughly about there-ish. And then if you had a 6-foot diameter bale, you would be somewhere in there. Now that part's not really that important because you can figure that out as you put your bales on. What is important is that when you are putting bales on here, right? So when I have two rows of bales on the bottom, they don't have to be smashed against each other, but they do need to be touching. When they're touching, it makes it to where the transition for that top row of hay is a much smoother process because it's going to ride the other bale down. So if I dump, let's say, the passenger side, so I'm setting that all the way down, and right about there, my bales are starting to shift, and then right about here, my bales are starting to roll off. As they're rolling off, of course, like I mentioned, your top row that would be right here is following the contour of the bale on this side, coming down and going onto here. But let's say that you have some flat spotted bales that you just can't get them to move. Well, that's okay. Lift the centers up. If you lift your centers up, you can push those flat spotted bales off. That's not a problem. Even if you have a top row on here still, right? This side's gonna move first because it doesn't have any pressure against it, but the sides being down, whereas this side doesn't. So whatever side you're trying to dump is gonna move first as far as your centers, since they're on the same circuit like we talked about earlier. But if you have that top row on there still and you did that, even with that top row coming down and hitting on this, it's not gonna hurt it. These trailers, as mentioned before, weigh about 11,600 pounds empty. They are stout. They are very, very tough trailers. They are great for farm use, great for anything related to farming. They are absolutely terrible for people that want to do hot shot loads because they weigh so much, they take away a lot of your capacity as far as what you're allowed to haul legally. And with that, that's about all I can show you as far as the trailer on a video. But if you ever want to, by all means, reach out to us. If we are near you, we would love to show you the trailer in person. If for some reason there's a farm show that you want us to go to, please tell us about it. We will try to accommodate all the farm shows we can, but you also have to realize we are a very small company and it costs a lot of money to go to the farm shows. Just like you all don't want to pay more for a trailer, we don't want to raise the price of the trailer in order to cover a bunch of farm shows either. So, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you answered most of your questions, but if we didn't, put them down below in the comments, and we will make more videos to answer those questions as well.
Learn more on our YouTube channel, Facebook, or at agmultitrailer.com.